Hello and welcome. We are rolling through the year. We are now at October. I know I say it every month. I'm like a broken record, but I can't help it. I can't believe it's October. It's mental. So let's see where we're at. We are working on a really simplistic month this month. So I'm only working with basically black and white. And since we're October, I've gone for a Halloween theme. Now, I've never really done Halloween. I can't believe it. In my bullet journal, I've always kind of gone autumnal for October. So I'm really enjoying the moodiness and the cobwebs. So embracing that. So as you can see, I have used watercolor, but you could do this just in pen if you wished, without all of the moody watercolor bits, and just keep it simple with a cobweb. Let me take you through where we are with the template. As always, our Patreon members get the free template. If you would like to follow us on Patreon, head down to the comments and you will see the links. We are running on YouTube 12 months behind our Patreon members, and if you just wanted to bullet journal with us today and you wanted this template, you could head over to Patreon and purchase it as a one-time only access to this template. So in the template you get the cover page with the design on, also a spare cover page, which I usually do the month to view a little bit smaller, just to give you a variation. You're going to get your week to view, so just a really tiny nod. Trying to keep it really simplistic this month, so we've not got a load of artworks to do, because I don't know if you're like me, I just need a month to chill. I have kept your daily pages empty. Now I am going to use just a bit of watercolor on mine. I don't think I'm going to do any designs, but the whole idea of this month is simplicity. So I've kept the daily pages empty. It's up to you. You can add some watercolor, you can add some cobwebs, you could add some spiders, because I've added some spiders to our habit tracker. Just coming down from the top there, so you could quite easily add that per day, add a little bit of splodge of watercolor and you're done. But see how you go, see where your time is, see where your time is best spent. That's your habit tracker. And your mood tracker, we have a cobweb. Each column is a day, so it's up to you how you want to do it. You could color the whole section in, or you could color each little thing. It's up to you, whatever works for you. But I've left you 3 boxes. Choose your colors and go crazy on that. So, you know what else I was wondering, actually, it's just come to me now. What we could have done is just have the spikes and fill out the lines as to how happy you are. Anyway, I'm thinking out loud here. I didn't think that through, but that could have worked just as well. Maybe you do that. Here is your title pages. So this is just if you've got any other pages you want to do in your bullet journal, you like my titling, and you just want to do some other spreads. I've given you a list of common kind of titles that you could use to create your own spreads. So what you're going to need today, not a lot to be honest with you. I am using black watercolor paint, my trusty hexagonal pencil. I know, look, I will never use another pencil ever again. We sell this on our website, £3.50, refillable ink, refillable lead. And the beauty of this is that it's a 0.7 lead, and I always use 2B. It is so nice to shade with and to use a really soft lead. 2 paintbrushes, one just to do some nice splodges of water, something a little bit smaller if you want to do in fine line, and then some Tombow pens. I've got a grey, a really light grey, and a black. Actually only going to use these for titling, maybe underneath titling. I'm going to stick to just black for our main image. Okay, so let's have a look. So my trusty, it wasn't September pretty. It wasn't September. I did like September. My trusty kind of sketchy. This is my sketch journal. Oh, a bit bright. Let's go another page on. Really haven't got any real tutorials to do for you because all we're going to do is blotches, whatever you want to call it, watercolor splodges, as well as our cobwebs. So what I've done for the cobwebs is, especially if we're up top here, just imagine up here, you've got like a central point and you've just got radial spikes coming out like that. And again, I like how it's quite sketchy. I actually did this with a paintbrush on my artwork because I really liked it being splotchy, but depending on how you feel, you can do it with a pen or with a paintbrush, however you feel. So we're just doing cobwebby shapes. I mean, I feel like I should describe it to you a bit more than that, but that's all I'm doing. I'm doing kind of a C shape. So I'm curving it between those. And if you wanted, you could use the fine line. Should I zoom in a bit more for you? Just so you can see what we're doing here. So if you wanted to use a fine, you could do some a bit finer. And maybe they're not all uniform, because I'm pretty sure spiders' webs, although they're very intricate and beautiful, pretty sure they're not going to be symmetrical. So you can kind of do whatever, make it as symmetrical or asymmetrical. Maybe some are kind of broken, I don't know. Make it however you want. But this is really all we're doing. And they can be thick or thin lines, or you could mix them up. Maybe some are in thicker pen and maybe some are thinner. That's all we're doing. And I know you can do this. I know you can do this. Easy, right? We're talking preschool, primary school. We've done this before. I've got really messy, but I don't care. But look, that's it. Done. That's all we need to do. And if you want to add in a little spidey, now I am going to use, I've got a hexagonal pen somewhere, but I'm just going to use this one for now. The spider, let me zoom in. Right, he's got a body. He's got some legs. That's literally all I'm doing. That's it. That's today's tutorial. Come on, we've got this. We can totally do it. Let's go ahead and get a fresh page and let's get started with the template. So if you're new here, then you will not have seen my little hack. I have a hack that I do with our pen, or hexagonal pen. On the back I scribble, and then that just means when we turn over I can trace that through. It gives me a really faint line. This is one that I've kind of messed around with on colours before, so you can see it's been worked into. So we'll just trace that over just to give us an idea of where the cobweb's going to go, where October's going to sit. It helps me frame my page and gives me a bit of an outline. So I'll do that and I'll show you on the other side. So as you can see, we've got a really faint line. I'm not even sure if it shows up on camera very well, but it's a very faint line of where everything is going to go and where I want it to go. So the first thing I'm going to do is add my watercolor base. So I've got some water that I used previously to do my journal in my actual journal. So it's already quite grey in colour. So I'm just going to add in some wash, so it's lighter and grey. And as always say with this paper, it's great, it's thick, it can take a bit of water, but it isn't watercolor paper, so go a little bit, don't go too crazy because it will bleed through, but you know, it can take some. So this is just using my black pigment and dropping it into because I want it to be quite, you know, witchy vibes, I'm just dropping it into that watercolour and letting it almost like do like an ink. You can add some more water in, but like I say, be careful, because it is great. It can take some, but it can't take as much as a watercolour paper can. So just be careful. That's all I'm going to say. But to be honest, if it's too much, you can also stick 2 pages together, and that will give you, you know, it'll stop the grinning through on the other side. So that's where I'm at. Just drop in some colour over here. And then my favourite bit, right, this is honestly, I'm such a kid, because one of my favourite bits is putting the, let's zoom in a bit so you can see. I'm going to load up my paintbrush with black, and I'm going to tap. Actually, before I tap, I'm going to just cover that side of, because it's going to go everywhere. But I'm just going to tap. Look at that. I love the paint. I know, I'm a big kid, but I just love that. Absolutely love it. Let's get some splodgers going. So it's really messy. I'm going to have to clean my board as well, but that's fine. We like making a mess. Let me zoom out because I don't want to move my book because it's going to make a mess over there a bit. So let me just load up my paintbrush, hold it over and tap, and we're just adding these splodgers to our page, giving it a bit of messiness. The messy the better, isn't it? Again, we're about having creative kind of messes. I love this big blob here. It's this bit over here is a little bit too regimented. I'll just stick some splodgers there. Okay, I'm kind of happy with how that's looking. You can kind of have a little look next to the original and see if you want to go more or less. Maybe we could do a little bit more over this side. Oh, it's not gone. I mean, you can angle it to some extent, but it does have a mind of its own. I want this side to be a bit more saturated with things. Okay, so now we're gonna have to leave it to dry, aren't we? Because we need to work over the top of it. So up to you. Go have a cuppa, or get the hairdryer out, whatever you want, and then I'll come back when it's dry and we'll add in our detail. Okay, so we're back, and I went in with a hairdryer and it caused a little bit of, I don't know, happy accident, whatever you want. But we're going to leave it and roll with it because you know what? It looks scary and gothic-y, and we're going to keep it. So next I'm going to use, I'm actually going in with a finer paintbrush for my cobweb. But like I say, you can do this in a pen, a brush pen or a felt tip pen, any kind of pen, if you don't feel confident with a paintbrush, so don't worry about it. Let's zoom in. I'm going to take it really slow for you, just from the top. I like to have my image in front of me just so I can kind of see what's going on. And we're just kind of doing cobwebby shapes. That's all we're doing. So we're going to start with fanning out, and I kind of like thick and thin and keeping it quite sketchy, although actually my paintbrush is a little bit feathered, so it's not as fine for detail, but that's fine. Let's just add it in. You know, I'm pretty sure the spider, when it's making the web, isn't thinking about how neat and tidy they are. They just want to get their web made, their little, I guess it's their home as well. Okay, so that's how we're starting, and then we're going to build with our little kind of sections that come off. So we're just going to do those C shapes and make it as freehand as we want. I kind of split that one into two a bit just to give it a bit more. There we go. So we've had it all going on in September. We had our youngest starting secondary school, so that was a big thing. Big thing for me as well, because it was like end of an era, because I haven't had to do, you know, the school pickup, because the secondary school's at the bottom of the road, which means, you know, he can just walk to school, which is amazing. Gives me back a little bit of time, but let me tell you, that time goes pretty much straight away. So I can't say that I'm massively noticing having all of this extra time on my hands. I have been working my part-time job, doing a few more hours there, and I'm kind of hoping to kind of get back into Instagram, because I fell a little bit off the whole Instagram bandwagon. So I'm hoping to kind of be a bit more present, and I can kind of focus a bit more now on, you know, my career and my life. Not that the kids don't need me, but you know, it's, as much as it's like heartbreaking to think, they don't need me as much anymore. So this is like a new kind of era for us, with them both at secondary school. Let's see what happens. Hopefully I'll have more time for journaling. But that's why I think this month is something that I wanted to do. I think it's Joy Pages. I will find her and tag her. In September did this whole, you know, back to basics, simplistic bullet journal kind of month, and I'd already done our theme for September, so I couldn't jump in on that one. But I thought, what a good idea, because do you know what, like, there's so much going on, and I thought, especially with the run up to Christmas, and like, you know, it all gets a bit crazy, and the one thing that we know is good for us, which is journaling and spending some time being mindful, and you know, spending some time colouring and creating. It gives us, you know, this little joy that we forget that we need in our lives. But how to kind of put it back to basics and say, yeah, do you know what, you do have time for this, because it doesn't have to take ages. Like, you don't even have to do this. Like, you could just write October, you know. You could if you wanted, you could just do the paint splodgers, like some moody paint splodgers, and write October. You don't even need to do this. Maybe this is even taking it a bit too much, but for me this felt achievable. You know, it didn't feel like a chore. I wasn't worried about, oh my god, this is going to take so long for me to set up, because I know when it comes to my daily pages, I'm keeping it really simple. There we go. That's our cobweb done, and I'm pretty much finished. I'm gonna just add some cobwebby details into the bottom corner, but again, this is like, you know, this is just me. This is me saying it's going to be simplistic and then getting carried away. This is what this is. You totally can just leave it at that. I don't know. Sometimes I'm my own worst enemy, but I can't help it. But isn't that nice though, that you kind of get swept up and taken away? I think it's a beautiful thing. So I'm not going to discourage it. And I think actually, if you're saying to yourself, you're not going to do, it's that thing, isn't it? I'm not going to spend time on this. Like, don't set the expectation, and then if it so happens that you get carried away, happy days. But don't feel that, you know, it has to be this work of art every month. Because I think sometimes, especially with some of the bigger bullet journal accounts, sometimes you just think it's just not sustainable, you know. You just can't keep up that level and life at the same time, you know. I mean, if bullet journaling is your full-time job, then I'm pretty sure you're going to be able to find time for it. But, you know, the rest of us have got lives, and we're just doing the best we can, aren't we, to make it through and survive and find a little bit of time for ourselves. So there we go. I'm done. Finished. So what we're going to do now, again, I like to save myself a heck of a lot of time, don't I, with my date stamp, but let's put October in. Am I going to smudge? I think I'll be okay, because I don't think I used a lot of paint, although where I want my O to go is right over that splodge, but let's just work with it. I don't want to get, look, we're at the end of the video now. If I get dirty, that's fine, isn't it? And normally I wouldn't be bothered about making a mess. I do like creating a mess. Okay, there's October. And then we're going to add in our month. You can, if you wish, you can write the numbers in yourself. I like to use our daily stamp, which comes with this acrylic base with all of the dates you need, and it also comes with an ink pad. It's available on our website. And there we go. October is finished. You can do that, and you can make it as intricate or as basic as you want. Let's just kind of keep it simple. I'd love to see what you do. As always, tag me, and I'd love to see your works. Let's meet again next month when we're going to be feeling revived and ready to start November. Okay, take care, guys.